And for more on how Palestinian authorities expect to proceed after Washington's move, WION spoke to Prime Minister Mohammad Shtayyeh on the sidelines of the Doha Forum.
There are talks of the Palestinian Authority taking up the administration of Gaza. What is the Palestinian Authority's position and thought on this matter?
Well, we have never left Gaza. We have all the time been providing service to Gaza. Our ministries are there, and $1.7 billion of our budget is spent on Gaza every year for the last 17 years. So therefore, we never left Gaza. The other important issue, of course, it needs national consensus, that all the forces that are there to agree on one single thing, which is that Palestinians are there to serve our people. So our existence never ended. We continue to be there. We already have there in Gaza 34,000 Palestinian civil servants whom we pay their salaries, who are still there.
Right. When will this war end, in your assessment on the matter? And also, the Saudi foreign minister has said that the Palestinian foreign minister was censured by the United States, which, of course, the U.S. State Department has now denied. What really happened in the meeting? I mean, if you can share something on that.
Well, by all means, our main concern, the thing that we talk to Washington about, is fully focused on, first, end the atrocities in the war. And the second important issue is that even though we are concerned of the day after, but our focus is on today, and today means stop the war. When it comes to the day after, United States has been talking about two-state solution. What we want is not another 30 years of negotiations on two-state solution. We want a mechanism of implementation for Israel to end its occupation that has occurred on the Palestinian territory since 1967 and manifest the two-state solution on the borders of 1967 with Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Palestine. So therefore, we are engaged with the whole international community in relation to this single item. When people talk about the day after, we want the day after for all of Palestine, not for the West Bank only, not for Gaza only, but for all of Palestine, based on international legitimacy, United Nations resolutions, and end of occupation.
Well, our correspondent Anas Malik is now joining us live from Doha. Good to see you, Anas. The Qatari Prime Minister also spoke about not showing the same willingness to negotiate now as before the truce. Could you elaborate more on that?
Certainly so, Eric. Some words there from the Qatari side. It's here in Doha. It is all happening. There is a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of diplomacy. The movers and shakers are here. And the Qatari side focusing on a negotiated settlement as to what their role has been with regards to any conflict, not just limited to the recent Israel-Gaza conflict, but overall as well, that how they have been emphasizing. But the Qatari Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister also clarifying at the same time about the polarity in the world, about how the geopolitical situation has been really defining the optics, which of course should not be the situation, and how the Qatari side would be emphasizing on the need of a negotiated settlement, because what they believe is that that only through dialogue and diplomacy there can be a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine problem. With that, I think the other key takeaway was that the talk by the Palestinian Prime Minister, not just to WION a short while back, but to the audience here at the Doha Forum, where he has called on sanctions against the Israeli side for, quote, violating international law and the UNSC resolutions, unquote. This is what their demand has been. That comes after, bear in mind, after a lot of disappointments to what they say that they have been pushing through the international community to put an end to the Israeli aggression, but that has not been the case. And now he says, and he's gone on to robustly even claim and say that the U.S. should also be held responsible for whatever that is happening in Palestine at this point of time. Eric?
Anas, apart from the Gaza crisis being the center of the Doha Forum, what else featured prominently at this conference?
Well, the theme is broad-based. It focuses on global south, it focuses on climate change, and it focuses on Afghanistan. But broadly, the dominant factor over here at the forum will be the tensions in Middle East, the conflict in the Middle East, and that is what will be dominating the next 2 days here in Doha, the capital of Qatar. The state has everyone except for the Israelis over here, and there are people on behalf of the American administration, people very senior in the American administration who are here in the capital of Doha, in the capital of Qatar, and there we can possibly see that there can be some sort of an informal push towards talks for the solution of the crisis in Middle East. But broadly, as I said, the theme focuses on the global south connectivity, number one. Number two, climate change, and of course the problem, the crisis in Afghanistan following the Taliban takeover. Eric.
All right, that is Anas Malik, our correspondent live in Doha. Thank you, Anas. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.